So I'm going to be doing a few things today. We're going to make some final product with some of the stuff that's been fermenting, not all of it. We're going to add to some of the ferments. We're going to make some new ferments. This is what we've gotten out of the garden. These are in Anaheim. They're not real hot. Some chilies. And then a mix of things I picked up at the farmer's market. Real quick. Won't use a whole lot, that's the unfortunate part. Next step, we need some hot peppers to put in there or something of that nature. So I do believe this is my very last bottle of the Preacher, and this is a fermented Carolina Reaper with a peach. And I don't trust the label. No, I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, this stuff is super hot. And there was a young lady who wanted to try some. So I'm doing a couple of sample bottles of this. We won't need anywhere near. Normally the stuff that I make with tomatoes, I would add 5 ounces of this to 32 ounces of tomatoes. Well, as you can see, blend it down. Don't relish the idea of tasting it, but I want to make sure it's the right stuff because it is the last one in the refrigerator. I almost blew on it because it's hot, right? Does that make sense? Alright, here we go. Yeah, that's Reaper sauce. Good grief. You want some Reaper sauce for your egg there?
No. No.
Okay. This is going to the Finley family. Probably more than they're going to want. And there you have it. He went from the Preacher to the Preacher's daughter. To this. So, just putting a smidgen, whatever that means, celery seed, small amount of citric acid. That helps give a tang plus stabilize the pH. Cumin. Mexican oregano. We're just going to put a tablespoon of vinegar. It's white distilled vinegar. It's for flavor and pH stabilization, so it has 2 functions. Just a touch. This stuff can thicken stuff up pretty quick, so. It's very surprising it's actually under 3, just as it sits. Brine and the flavors of the brine. This has no heat. It's a fermented brine. You can add it to your sauce to thin it, to make it. Sometimes you get these sauces so thick they don't want to come through the dropper, so you add a little brine to thin them to allow them to be usable out of the bottle. Now, this brine, because it's got these hot peppers in it, is going to have a little bit of heat to it. This is a half a cup. We're going to put a half a cup of this brine. Start in there. Actually, I'll make that a cup. It's time to taste our tomato Carolina Reaper concoction. There's a little bit on the blender piece over here. Should be enough to give an idea. It's hot. I think though. That's pretty darn tasty. Okay, so we blended down the habaneros. The brine is pretty good just on its own, got it there. Okay, it's an experiment. Here we go. Mango puree from the Philippines. All right, here we go. Make a few more times to get it hot, actually. Well, it's not as hot as I thought. Right. What do you think? Good to go?
Pretty good.
This is some of the brine from the habaneros and about half a cup of just water to dilute the salt content. And then I'm going to put half a cup of this mango into it. Mostly just to give it similar color, but definitely a softer version of what we've got over here. And then I'm going to put a little bit of xanthan. There's that. Kind of cool. Definitely smell that habanero. For a little bit, did some clean up and did a blend of that bottle sitting over here that is some of these little cayenne and red chilies that I grew out of the garden. We put them in a brine a few weeks back with some Guajillo pepper, dried Guajillo. And that's where that beautiful red color comes from, those Guajillo peppers. Added in some brine and some water to dilute that salt level a little bit. Blended it down, haven't tasted it yet. But while we're on the topic of red, these little peppers right here, these are the second hottest pepper in the world. and they're out of my garden. They are the scorpion pepper, and I've been growing them and getting a few every now and then, and I got quite a few last time, and as they've been coming in, I've been putting them in this singular jar, and I'm going to add the rest of those. I only got like 3 of them out of there, 4 of them out of there this time. And then these little red chilies that I picked up from the farmer's market, they've got a sweet but a little bit of heat. I'm going to put that in there, but we're going to move it to a bigger jar because we're going to need the bigger space. So we'll probably this is the chili peppers from the garden, and then Guajillo, dried Guajillo, so it's not going to be hot. I didn't put any flavor in it other than just sauce. With vinegary. I added some vinegar to it because I figured I wanted a little vinegar-based flavor in there. I want to talk about brine. We're going to make this in a salt brine. So it's a quart. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of salt. Kind of got tired of weighing and measuring. It always came out about the same. All right, so our weight's on. We still have quite a bit of volume in there. That will give us, okay, pretty red. I like that. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. This is what we ended up with today. Somewhere in the middle of videoing the last block, my phone shut off, ran out of power. So anyway, we ended up with a brine-based Guajillo and chili pepper. This is a Guajillo and chili pepper brine with some barbecue sauce. It's made with the Guajillo pepper and a few other chilies. And this is the Flamato. And this is the mango habanero. And then a couple of ferments going back there that we'll have to do later. All right.